Many people did not notice that a lot of our police officers were working 24 hours, basically, because we had 3 shifts on our major roadblocks. There are nights when the Inspector General and myself went to some of the roadblocks. And frankly, as a human being, you cannot fail to see the level of sacrifice and commitment amongst our police officers in helping our country. And now, the IGCI will tell you, 2 weeks after we changed the containment measures, including curfew hours, the number of road accidents we have had in those 2 weeks is more than the accidents we had during the 6 months of containment period, which says something about us. It's not about the police, it's about us, the kind of people we are as a society. So I have requested my brother and my colleague, the Inspector General, and all of you good people, that we now need to relook at how we are going to manage our roads and traffic services jointly with the NTSA, because that number of accidents is actually alarming when you look at what we have been getting in terms of reporting every other day, as it were. So thank you for the hard work that you do. Thank you for maintaining a fantastic reputation. Thank you for being an orderly institution. And I want to thank you for enhancing your services. The government is determined to continue partnering with you. And while I'm on that, I want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President for the attention he has had to our sector. Because under the new Big Four arrangement plan we have, now some of the houses that we are building are reserved for our police officers. Mr. Chairman, I think the SACCO should help us. Now buy the houses that are reserved for us at Park Road, so that we too live and begin to enjoy a better quality of life, as it were. There are 2 issues I want to say before I draw to the conclusion. Number one, there is a direct correlation between service delivery and self-esteem. You know, however hard you work as officers, if at the end of the day your personal lives, your family lives, your development, your personal development is not addressed, we cannot imagine and pretend that you are going to continue to be motivated to work. Every time, one of the most challenging aspects of my job, and every time it happens, God forbid it doesn't happen so soon, it really pains us, is when I go to receive bodies of police officers who have been killed in combat or by terrorists. Every time I have to go to one of our bases, whether it is Gilgil or Wilson or wherever, to receive bodies of our police officers who have died in the line of duty. It pains me. It pains me even more when I go to visit the families. Recently, IG and I were at Kabete when we lost one of our police officers, Patrick, in Northeastern. And it was very painful to see. Most of our police officers are young, especially the ones who have joined our special duty teams. And they leave small families, young kids. Every one of those widows I've seen are young, almost hopeless, with small kids, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and so on. That is why we all must pay attention to the welfare of our police officers. Because truth be told, and you know this, my brothers and sisters, we do a very dangerous job. Sometimes I tell people, when I've gone to see families of these police officers, were in Nyeri another day to see one of our inspectors, Mr. Kinywa's family, who had again died in line of duty, and I painfully was telling the family, this is the life we lead. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you are not very sure you will come back in the evening, or sometimes when you dress in the evening to go out on the beat, you are not too sure you will actually come back in the morning. It's a very dangerous and very difficult life that we lead. But that's all fine and dandy. We need to look at how we support our police officers. And why I love this circle is because of the orderly manner in which you are managing the savings of these police officers. Because, my friends, let me tell you, this is how we will manage to support our officers and ensure that our officers' lives, especially the lives of their families, in the event, God forbid, anything happens, Some of these children can actually go to school. Some of these children can have a future as they go forward. The Inspector General and I were directed by the President to immediately now begin forming as an association or a welfare unit to look after the widows of our police officers who die in the line of duty. And this December this year, we will launch that new welfare entity so that we look after the widows of police officers who die in the line of duty. And I want to tell you, I'm so encouraged by the enthusiasm I've seen from the private sector and people who have pledged contribution. And I am going to give it all my energy. I will give it all my effort. I will work on it like my life depends on it with the Inspector General to ensure that we establish a very strong welfare body that looks after the widows and the families of our police officers who die in the line of duty. Because you see, much as people say what they will say, they will criticize us, they insult us, and so on. When all is said and done, you go back to your family. That's where the rubber meets the road. It is about your son, it's about your daughter, it's about your wife, it's about your husband, and the life they will lead in the event, God forbid, but it's a reality we live with in the security sector, in the event that that sad news had to come to them. Unajua polisi tunalimwa pamoja, tunatukanwa pamoja, tunafanya kazi pamoja, na tunatukanwa na wale watu ambao hata wanasahau kwamba if we were not doing the work we are doing, they wouldn't even actually have the opportunity to insult us. But it's okay. That's the nature of this game. I saw somebody even calling our Inspector General an idiot. So, since you are my foremost colleagues in this ministry, IG, and my brothers and sisters who are here today, let me start first of all by thanking you very sincerely and congratulating you as the police SACCO for what you have achieved for yourselves. People used to think some time back that the police will be the last ones to embrace technology. I think they must apologize to themselves because we are way ahead of many in doing this. You see, if we are the law enforcement officers, if we mismanage our SACCO, who is going to arrest us? Because you see, we are the ones who are supposed to lead by example in the manner in which we do this work. And Mr. Chairman, let me tell you this. I am so proud of the reputation of the police SACCO, the work that you have been able to do, and how you manage yourselves and how you have managed your resources. I work with you, so I know you more than many of those people who criticize you and who insult you all the time. I think our police officers work very hard. Therefore, my second point, because this SACCO, the predominant membership of this institution are our police officers, let me take this opportunity to thank you very sincerely as a satisfied citizen of this country for your services. Lastly, and now that I have this opportunity, I want to say this. Yesterday, the National Security Advisory Committee issued guidelines on public gatherings and public meetings. In the last almost 1 week alone, I have received about 10 petitions from civic organizations, faith-based groups, asking me to do something about early campaigns, about public rallies, and so on and so forth. You know, we have to act within the law. There are powers I have, and there are powers I don't have according to the law. We have to be very honest. Even if people tell me to draw from the PPOA, the Preservation of Public Order Act, that too is limited, especially when it comes to what the Minister for Interior can do and so on. But you know, I've come to a point where I will tell you this, my dear friends, as a country, and for you and I, who are in the security sector, we know this more than anyone. As a country, we need to think and think again about the stability of this country, its prosperity, and its future. You can see clearly from those petitions I'm getting that the anxieties are beginning to rise in the country. Our population is beginning to become anxious. Some of these groups, and then these things are very painful. I didn't know actually until last week that there was an organization called Survivors of 2007 violence, post-election violence. And these are people reliving memories of very sad things that happened as a result of the way in which we conducted ourselves. Let us understand this. All of us, and that is the reality of this life, all of us, you and I, and all those brothers and sisters of ours who occupy various offices in this country, we will one day go, but the country stays. And we have been given this country by God as a gift to treasure for ourselves now, but most importantly for our children and our children's children. What that means is now more than ever before in the history of our country recently, we are called upon to exercise restraint. Let's think about the country. I want to ask all our leaders across the board to think about the country. Even in the statements we make, in the speeches we make, our brothers and sisters, whatever we are doing in social media, let's think about the country. This is our only home on earth. Let us think about our country. No amount of force, and this is true, and you guys know this more than I do, no amount of force, no amount of legislation will control our very basic morality and our sense of responsibility. This is something that we should adopt as human beings. We are here, and God has put us, all of us, here so that we can live together and build a country. We will have differences of opinion. There's never going to be a time when we cannot have differences of opinion. I mean, we are a society. God has created us, each with our abilities, and sometimes we look at things differently. That's why we are a great, diverse society. We debate issues, we have conversations, we engage one with another, and that's how we're going to build a great country called Kenya as we move forward. And we have challenges. There are not 2 or 3, there are many. We know the challenges we have with unemployment, the rate of poverty, the inequalities, the challenges that we deal with every other day. They are there. They will not go away tomorrow. We are working on them. We are not there yet, but it's a journey that we are traveling through, every person's effort as we make the effort. But let us not sacrifice the stability of our country at the altar of temporary inflation of passions and mobilization of people and so on and so forth. So as the Ministry of Interior, working with my brother, the Inspector General, and all of you good people, let us follow and respect the guidelines that were given by the National Security Advisory Committee. We support them because all of them are based on existing laws. Notification about meetings, notification about conduct of meetings and what we need to do. And always responsibly thinking that because I have a platform and I am a leader, I have that much more responsibility to be much more careful because I have an elevated platform. What I say from here can affect many people. So it's that we need to think about as we go along. And then wherever you go, we should be ambassadors of peace and stability in our country. And then we are reviewing several things we are doing in the internal security sector. And soon, the Inspector General and myself and some of our colleagues are going to have a conference to start looking at how we are going to deal with some of these challenges. But I can tell you, I'm not going to delude myself about this. No amount of force, no amount of legislation can actually order our morality. It's a decision we have to make as a people. Do we want to destroy our country, or do we actually want to work together through the challenges we face and cross the bridge together and build a better country, a better society, and a stronger group of people? It's a question we have to answer. So as police officers, as you work around the country, let us remember, we have this duty of enforcing the law, we have the duty of keeping the peace, we have the duty of ensuring we have order, but I think most importantly, we also have the duty of encouraging our people to begin embracing a culture that respects the law. In respecting the law, you are respecting yourself. In respecting the law, you are respecting your country. And slowly but surely, that's how all these great societies and civilized environments that we talk about. Civilization is not in buildings, in the amount of money we make and cars we drive. It's in the adoption and embracing of the very basic human values that we know. Respecting other people's views, accepting that we will not see things the same way. And then when we don't see things the same way, there's nothing wrong. When someone has a different view from yours, there's nothing wrong. It's just that they have a different view. So that we build a better, stronger society. We will enforce the law, yes, but we will be much more happier if we contributed towards building a cohesive society by encouraging everyone to live by the law, to respect the law. And the law serves all of us because, truth be told, we have established this law and passed this law so that it enables all of us to live in a coherent and effective manner. Let me ask you a question in closing. All of you are making savings. You are struggling. We have had quite a beating and a tough time through COVID-19. You save your 5,000 shillings every month, your 2,000 shillings every month. Will you actually be happy to wake up one morning and find that all your savings have gone up in smoke? Will you be happy to do that? No. So we have to safeguard our society for us, for ourselves, not for someone else, for us. And let's keep sending this message, going one person at a time and engaging in these conversations, that as a country, we are always better than this. Some of this rhetoric that we are seeing, some of the warlike language we are seeing in social media, the NCIC characterized it yesterday correctly. That's genocidal. We have seen societies that have begun there and have ended in the wrong direction. We cannot repeat mistakes we have done before, and we know where we are going to go with those kinds of mistakes, where leaders take the platform and just basically say anything. It doesn't matter whether they are lying or not. It doesn't matter whether they are hurting people or not. We cannot live that way. We have a responsibility, and I want to call upon you, my brothers and sisters, that Kenya is ours, all of us, and therefore we have an equal responsibility, all of us, to build it, to ensure it is stable, and to ensure that we hand it over to our children and our children's children better than we even found it. That way we'll then have made a sensible contribution. So I'm really grateful, and Mr. Chairman, as I always say, I'm a member of ASACO myself, and I've been a member of ASACO for a long time, just so that everyone understands that, there's a theory, or some people have this misguided notion that if you are in a certain position or a certain caliber in society, you cannot belong to ASACO. Do you think we were born as ministers? Do you think I was born and started crawling in Arambe House? I mean, we grew up from somewhere, and we have grown up that way. When you introduced the chair of Egerton, one time I was a member of that SACO, actually, when I taught at Egerton University. And this far the Lord has brought us, and it's worked well, and therefore I support SACO as an effort of enhancing oneself and strengthening yourself. So we will continue to do what we can to support you and to support this institution. But most of all, I can't say enough about how proud I am for the achievement you have made, for the order you have kept, for the transparency and good reputation you have kept, and so that we don't tell other people things we cannot do. Because as I said, if the police SACO itself has got challenges, who's going to investigate us at the end of the day? So congratulations for the establishment of Bambasuko, and it's my great pleasure to declare it now officially launched. Thank you.